How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Yes, as you may have seen on X, I have caught COVID off my son and I am feeling absolutely awful. But I thought I'd get a quick video out talking about the Parris interview. I'm going to have a link to it in the description below. Please go give it a view. It's a good interview, barring one question really, which I would have liked Parris to have asked, which he didn't. And I'm guessing either Phil refused that question preemptively or they just didn't want to push the boat. I'm not really sure, but it's a question that everyone's been asking, everyone's been talking about, so not asking it stood out like a sore thumb. Well, mainly two questions. But let's have the drop, because it's going to get interesting. So apologies in advance if my voice sounds awful. This is the best I can really do under the circumstances. I deteriorated yesterday, so it is what it is. But I did want to get this video out because I've been messaged by a number of people and it's worth talking about. So Parris asked, why would I still want an Xbox? And Phil gave a response, because at the end of the day, this is a valid question without exclusives. Why am I here? Right? If I can, outside of my back catalogue, what is it that the Xbox console is offering me that's unique to make me want to buy it? And he gave an answer which was honest, he gave an answer which was truthful, and I think the response was a good one, but not the one people wanted to hear. So now he said, I want people to pick hardware based on the capabilities of that hardware, basically telling you that as far as they're concerned, the console itself isn't the platform anymore. They just want to bring games to everyone. And so if you want to play on PC, if you want to play on Asus ROG Ally, if you want to play on the Nintendo Switch, if you want to play on the PlayStation, you can. Maybe not every game, but you can for those games. Now, you're probably saying, well, why not every game? He kind of made it perfectly clear that Xbox is pushing everything to every platform. And that's the two questions that Parris didn't ask, in my opinion, to get 100% clarification. And as such, the interview was great, but it is missing those two questions, and I'm going to get to it. Based on the capabilities of that hardware and how it fits into the choices that... So Phil Spencer said, I want people to pick hardware based on the capabilities of that hardware and how that fits into the choices they want to make about where they want to play, and we want our hardware to win based on the hardware abilities that we have. Now, this is a loaded response, and I'm going to break it down ever so slightly because it's worth... Now, this is a loaded response, so let's break this down first before we get to the next segment. So what he's saying here is, as far as he's concerned, getting these games out to more people at the end of the day means that more gamers are playing games. And with the acquisition of ZeniMax, ABK, and they are going to continue buying more. They are the biggest publisher in the world. They will continue to gobble up companies and continue to put games onto other platforms. Now, here is where one of the questions didn't come in. And that was, well, what about Halo and Gears? Because those, and maybe Forza as well, I guess Starfield, Fable. What about these games? Will these games be going as well, or is it the AA games and the not so super high profile games that aren't a legacy title? So that question was missed, and if you're reading the comment section, you'll probably see a lot of people saying that they copped out and didn't really go in for the kill. Now, obviously, there's a number of reasons for this. They probably want him to come back, and putting him on the spot like that probably would have been no more interviews. Now, the second part here is what they've been saying all along with this as an Xbox, because, well, they're saying gamers are changing. At the end of the day, people are playing on handheld devices. Handheld PCs are now quite popular. They might not be selling in the millions, but they're still in their infancy and will grow with the younger generation. People play on their mobile phones. Big games like Fortnite, as he keeps on referring to, are everywhere. And so they're making the most money. And as a business, they need to make money. But one thing he went back on, well, not back on, but doubled down on, is the fact that there will be more hardware. Because he said that, alongside what Sarah Bonder's been saying, they are still working on hardware and they want to provide a console or a PC or whatever it's going to be, a hybrid, that you will actually want to buy. It will be an option for you. And if you choose to buy it, you'll be within the ecosystem and happy days. But if you don't, and you still want to experience those Xbox games, well, they're saying you're not locked to our platform. You can go to PC or other platforms and you can play those games. What they didn't say was, is it still a case by case, or is everything now day and date? It's not confirmed, and that's the second question. Is everything now going to be day and date? So these are two key questions that were missed, and so as good as this interview was, it didn't really answer the root question that everyone had. So the uncertainty continues, and the interview didn't really tell us any more than we already knew. It's really game first, not platform first. Most of the games you and I will talk about run across so many different platforms, and those are the games that are having success. Those are the games that are at the top of the charts when you look at the most played and most successful games. And he's referring to Call of Duty, he's referring to Fortnite, he's referring to Apex, these live service games like Minecraft, Roblox. He's referring to these games, and yes, they appeal to a certain audience, and I appreciate that, but I wouldn't be caught dead playing most of those games, so I don't understand why he thinks that everyone should be playing those. And if that's what they want to become, good for them, but I'm hoping that's not the case. He says, I want to build a platform that services those creators that are trying to meet people on every screen. Let's say like our own hardware. I think it's fundamental to what Xbox is. It's not lost on me. I've said over and over that box is in the name of our brand. I'll say, in the position I'm in, I look at hardware as a critical part of what we do. So what he's saying there is essentially, they're doubling down. There will be consoles, there will be handhelds, there will be devices for you if you want to stay within the Xbox brand and enjoy gaming. Game Pass will be available on Xbox hardware, most likely on the reference Xboxes as well, and if you jump over to PC, you'll have PC Game Pass available to you. Of course, the big question here is your back catalogue, and people want those games available if if everything is an Xbox, to be accessible. That is the promise that Microsoft made, and at the moment, that is not the case. So it'll be interesting, but they did delve into the whole Windows overlay with an Xbox and providing you a unified experience. Now, there was another thing that they spoke about as well. Parris says, what does this is an Xbox mean? Phil says, it does mean more of our games shipping on more platforms. Not just PlayStation. We love the work we do with Nintendo. We love what we do with Valve on Steam. Put the games first, make sure the games can be as great as they can. We love the experience on our own hardware, our own platform. But our games will show up in more and more places, no doubt. So this is confirming that more games are going to go whether people like it or not. And this is where, in my opinion, Parris should have doubled down and said, right, what's the criteria? What is it? Is it day and date? Is it timed exclusivity? What is it that we are working with? Because this case by case does not give you a good image, it doesn't give you a good PR, and at the end of the day, it kind of leaves people in the balance. But he has given you enough information now where if you are unhappy with the way Xbox is going, you can leave and go elsewhere. He's provided you with enough, in my opinion, but he's stopped short of saying if you want to play Halo, the only place you can play it is on Xbox. And of course PC. So it was a good interview. I think it unveiled a lot, but I also think that it missed the opportunity, and whether they were too scared to ask that question or refrained from asking it because PR told them that question was off limits, I don't know. I've seen it happen where certain questions are just not allowed to be asked because PR generally reviews questions, but maybe this was an on-the-spot ad hoc interview. I genuinely don't know. I haven't spoken to Parris, but as of right now, the way Xbox is, you either like it or you don't. And let's make no mistake, right? Game Pass is sustainable, it is successful. Now, I do see a lot of people turning around and saying, well, if Game Pass is sustainable and doing well and making all this money, like people say, like $4.5 billion profit, why are they in this situation and why are they doing it? And the answer to that is what Game Pass does is different to what game sales do. Those Game Pass cost like 1 billion, 1.5 billion. Maybe it's gone up to 2 billion now with the cost of games rising. So the money that they're making, if it is 4.5 billion, well, 2 billion of that is going to cover the cost, 2 billion is profit. And happy days. But the studios will also need to sell in order to, that their margins aren't done by Game Pass. At least I don't think they are. And so both of those standards are different. Those finances are different. So just because Game Pass is, sustainable and doing well doesn't mean that reflects well on other studios. So by pushing it out to more platforms, what they're essentially doing is saying, if you're an Xbox gamer and an Xbox customer, we will look after you. As long as you're part of the Game Pass program, the Ultimate program, you will continue to get day-and-date games. You saw in the Developer Direct, everything there was day-and-date. And the best part that no one really talks about is Play Anywhere. Play Anywhere is an amazing feature, and they're pushing this more and more. And even in this interview, Phil was pushing that. Now, of course, they've been releasing a number of games on other platforms, and the 29th is when their earnings call comes out. I don't think it's been enough time. We haven't seen really any other game that would, outside of Call of Duty really, that could make a dent. So we'll see what impact Call of Duty had. But I think the fiscal year, end of, this time next year, will be a much better reflection on how the business overall has done. Or maybe, halfway through the year, once games like Avowed, South of Midnight, Obscure, I know it's not an Xbox game, but it is on Game Pass day one, as well as Doom. Of course, Ninja Gaiden 4, which is now regarded as a first-party game, is at the end of the year. But those three big games, and probably some littered around, like Sniper Elite, which should release on the 31st, are all going to have an impact on what we see. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all develops and how this all goes on. But one thing for sure, the old Xbox isn't coming back. Are the games going day and date? Is Halo and Gears going? What is the cadence of these games going to other platforms? These were the three big questions that the fans wanted answered, and none of these, unfortunately, were asked. Great interview nonetheless. At least we got a bit more insight into the way they're thinking and the path they're going down, but I still feel it was a missed opportunity. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. Hopefully I'll be better on Monday to have my stream and on Tuesday. But if I'm feeling as bad as I am now, where every part of my body wants to snap in half, I may be missing those days. COVID is really kicking my ass at the moment, and it hurts. But anyway, that's me, that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. Thank you to Pena and Parris for the interview with Phil. I'll have a link to the full video in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.